How are we doing today? How's my audio? Can we hear me? Do I need to turn myself up a tiny little bit? Maybe. I'm just gonna pull that up. Anyway, just to be safe. Just to be safe. Alright? Hello, humans. My name is Dale Kingsmill. That's a weird thing I don't think I've ever started a live stream that way. But here we are. Here we are. So welcome on in. I don't know how many of you know the context for what's going on today, but I made a TikTok recently that was, it was just, okay. So most people here know me for Dungeons and Dragons, and most people here have gotten used to the way that my brain approaches sort of homebrew game design and the sort of overthinking that goes into that. But the folks on Sims TikTok were not necessarily prepared for it. So I just posted this silly thing. I had basically I'm working on a save file that is curated to my tastes in The Sims. And so I deleted all of the pre-made townies that come with the game, and I am slowly replacing them with my own background NPC Sims who have connections to one another. But you have to do quite a lot of them in order to, so via the use of mods and things like that, it will train the game to less likely create random Sims and more likely use the Sims that you've created, right? So you can kind of control the look of them, and it means that there's more of the people who show up at any location. Like, you go to a restaurant and the people in the background are going to be people that have their own kind of lives and connections and things going on, right? But you have to make quite a lot of them. And so I threw together a very haphazard way of quickly generating the concept behind a lot of Sims and this sort of world building and these full connections, or at least the framework for full connections. But I realized after doing it how ridiculous it is as a system if you just kind of come at it without any context. And so I shared that on TikTok, and it kind of took off a little bit. And lots of people have, I mean, apart from the people asking why, God, why are you doing this? A lot of people have asked, hey, how did you do that? How long did it take you? How can I do that? So I thought I could kill a couple birds with one stone by just streaming it. I can just find out. I'll look back at the VOD and go, hey, this step in the process took me exactly X amount of time. Yes, we are talking The Sims, the video game. Exactly. Where are my glasses? I know I got them for reading chat, but where did I put them? All right. Which Sims game is this? Just Sims 4. I'm not deep enough into The Sims to really. I played Sims 1, The Sims, as a kid, and I think I played a little bit of The Sims 2, but I wasn't like in it. But you know, Sims 4, it's got us all by the scruff of the neck. So yeah, it just kind of turns out that the slightly unhinged D&D homebrew brain also applies to The Sims. So I don't know how many people who are here today watching live are actually going to be from the TikTok. I did put out the call to them if they want to join. If they want to come and hang out with us, and I hope they do, but if not, you know, I'm still gonna probably chop shop the finished product to answer their questions over there. Yeah, I don't know. So we're gonna just sort of follow the process, recreate the process today, and see how long it takes and how difficult it is, because I genuinely don't think it's as complicated as folks over there seem to think. I don't think it takes that long. I don't think it's that hard. And you know, some people get it and their brain works in a similar way, and some people don't get it, and I love that for them. I'm sure they sleep well at night. Yeah, exactly, Dezzles. You can't get any version of The Sims or you will sink into it forever. It's so true. And then it's such a slippery slope from, well, what if I just buy the werewolves pack? The next thing you know. But no, I think we're going to have a good time here today. It's just going to be really chill. Probably a lot of back and forth chat interaction to sort of put stuff together because I think that's a fun element of doing this live is getting all of your input. But yeah, my glasses are so foggy, but it's bugging me that you can see it on camera. Why? Like, at least if it's only bugging me, then that's fine. Must create full universe. Yeah, the McRib has been witness to the realization over on TikTok as people find out that I already do know D&D. I'm doing very well, Gabby Pie. Thank you so much for asking. Merrick, your younger sister, probably gets it. Probably gets it. Because it's just, you know, when the Sims grabs you, it grabs. And it doesn't let go. It shakes you like a dog with a toy for, I'd say, minimum 2 weeks. And then maybe it'll let you go for a couple of months. But then it'll creep back up on you. This desk setup shaking the camera. All right. Well, let's see. Let's just start the setup. So, I am going to be using boopity boop. All right. First step. Step number 1. We just need a list of the End King. Does the McRib exist in Australia? Does the McRib exist anywhere? I thought they discontinued it. I don't think we ever had the McRib. But let me tell you this. We had the McCaws. And you'll have not experienced a true Australian burger until you've had a burger with beetroot on it. So get on that. So step 1 of this entire process is very, very simple. We just need a list of names. Now, I explained in the original TikTok that I start with the teens and children in a setting because they sort of by necessity, they have parents. And then those parents have parents. So it spreads easily from there in order to cover the sort of age range of other Sims in this world. So we're going to start with the teens and we're going to start with the children. I personally, when I'm doing this, like to sort of, I don't know, think about a theme. And that helps to come up with the list. I made this more complicated than it needed to be because I wanted to discover what the first names of the kids were. So I created a whole thing. It was a tornado naming system, but it's not important. You can start with any list of names. And I looked at the mod that I'm using and it allows up to 24 teens to go to school in the high school years pack. So 24 is kind of the magic number, or I guess 23, because assuming that we will have a Sim who maybe goes to school with them. So let's aim for like 24-ish names in this list, and they can be anything. So if you wanted to do like, oh, well, I'm gonna make like a magic school, that might influence the names that you choose. It can be any list of names. It does not actually matter. So what I'm gonna need from all of you is we're going to need to start putting together a list. Where did chat go? Why is chat? Okay, well, that's useless to me. We're going to need to start putting together a list of names. I mean, someone brought up Stranger Things. Ryan Matthews brought up Stranger Things in chat. That's as good a prompt as any to start putting together a list. So I'm going to just literally look up what are popular names from the 80s. Most common names, Indiana, 80s. And you can start throwing out names as well, and I'll start reading names, and you can all just go, oh, I like that name. All right, sure, the Social Security Administration. Why not, right? Why not? So I'm going to start reading out names, and you should start just, like, calling out names that I list that you enjoy, okay? All right? So I'm going to skim down a tiny bit, so we're not starting at the very top of the list, because I like to hit the sort of, like, slightly more middle ground. All right, okay, boys' names that were popular in the 80s in Indiana. Alexander, Brian, Samuel, Derek, Bradley, Chad, Sean, Edward. Wow. I feel like nothing has changed. Oh, we got a Juan. Characters from the Guess Who board game. Tiffany, I like the name Tiffany. Let's chuck Tiffany in there. So we got one name. We got McRib is not a name, McRib. It's not a name. Let's see. I'm going to stick in. So we got a vote for Bradley. We got a vote for Sean. Yeah, actually, that's a good question. How do we want to spell Sean? Because this will change things. This will impact things. So do we want the name technically on the list I was reading was Shawn, like Sean Moen, but do we want Shaun? Do we want Sean? What do we want? What are we looking for? Candace? I'll chuck Candace in there. Hell yeah. Tiffany is too medieval. That's hilarious. For people who don't know, Tiffany is a medieval name. It's one of those names that just does, it sounds really modern, and if you stick it in a medieval setting, it sounds wrong, but it's actually a medieval name. All right, it looks like people are voting for Sean, Sean, and I'm down with that. I mean, look, I'm just looking for first names at the moment. I'll take D as a first name. Is D short for anything? I like Rami. I like Lisa. On that same list as before, popular girls' names include Chelsea, Brandy, Catherine, Cynthia, Veronica, Leslie, Natasha, Crystal, Stacy. Oh, Siobhan. I like Siobhan. Spelled that right, didn't I? Siobhan? Yeah. Actually, Dezzles, that is an interesting thing. I mean, I don't know, it feels weird to say out loud for some reason. I had Omar and Omar's siblings' names on my original list of Sims names, and I had to remove them because it started to feel weird. Like Omar's sibling is named Imran, and I got an Imran in the list, and I got partway through and I was like, no, I have to change this. I can't do this. It's too weird. So I don't know, if there's a tip there, it's just make sure that you actually like all of the names on the list, because otherwise you're going to get to a point where you wish that you hadn't selected that name. So actually be pretty cutthroat. And yeah, we'll put in Stacy because her mum's got it going on. Jack, get a Jack in there. There's always a Jack. Okay, so we reckon D is short for Deanna. And you've spelt it that way. Thank you so much. Colby suggests Jennifer. Honestly, Oleander? Why not? Why not? Chuck it in there. I'm making it maybe gender neutral, or, you know, we can figure out who they are later. Grant is fun. Thank you, Kev Grant P. Yeah, very nice. Nimrod shortened to Rod, like Rod Stewart. Is Rod short for Nimrod in Rod Stewart's case? That can't be real. Okay, now check civil. You say gem. Are we talking gem like and the holograms feminine, or are we talking gem like To Kill a Mockingbird short for Jeremy? Or are we just leaving that up to fate and we can decide later on? Or not decide, as may be the case. Wesley's fun. Yeah, we'll chuck a Rodney in there. We're talking about Rods. Chuck a Rodney in there. Why not? That feels 80s. Daisy, sure. Stacy's mom has got it going on. Do 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 do. Y'all are being ludicrous. I'm gonna just stick Gem in there and we can find out later. Because I do like the name Gem. Gordo, sure thing. Is it Gordo or is it short for Gordon? I like Marcus. Sybil. Sybil is nice. Kimberly. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey, Mickey. Hey, Mickey. Is Madison a horrible pop culture name? All right, Amanda. And we've probably got one. Damien? All right. We got one more. There we go. We're done. We're done. Lock it in. There's 24 names. That's all it took to come up with 24 names. You can pull the list from anywhere. You can randomly generate a list of 24 names. You just gotta compile a list of 24 names that you like. That's it. Full stop. Done. And we'll do this again in a little bit for the kids, but these are for the teens. Actually, let's do the kids right now while we're at it. Let's keep it going. Let's actually keep it going after all. We got an Adrian. We got a Bruce. Love Bruce for a kid's name. Madison wasn't a name until Splash? That can't be true. That can't be true. I'll check in Cedric. I'll check in Trevor, even though you said Treverick because McRib is being ludicrous. We got a Bree. We got a Gareth. I'm leaving the gaps because I do want to keep a sort of loosely equal number of masculine and feminine names in the mix, just so that we don't end up with a super skewed sort of demographic graph at the end. Greta. Gertie, probably short for Gertrude, right? When I was a kid, I'm the youngest of 4. When I was a kid and we would play pretend, my older sister would always give me names that she knew I hated. She would always say that my character was named Gertrude or Beatrice. And I didn't like those names. And it successfully got to me every single time. Bang, bang, Maxwell's silver hammer came down on their heads. Wow, we're getting so many great suggestions in chat, actually. Thank you so much. Okay, now, here's my question. Are we saying Genevieve or are we saying Genevieve? Genevieve. Ashley. Love Ashley. Now, do we want to spell it? We can spell it like that. Or, keep in mind, we can also spell it like this. And spelling does make a difference down the line. So just, just checking that in there. I started mixing them. Actually, Ashley's a gender-neutral name, so we don't know. Cassandra. Remember when names like Ashley used to be, like, proper gender-neutral? Like, I remember being a kid and knowing several boy Ashleys. And I feel like that's died out. Tragedy. Tony. And now is Tony short for Anthony? Finley. We can check Finley in there. Jaden. We need a Zach and a Kelly. We can have a Zach and a Kelly. Zach. Jaden, Braden, Hayden. If I was born male, I would have been named Braden. Ginger. Love. Honestly, congrats to Ginger Minge. I think that the season was put together poorly, but Ginger Minge is deserving. That's for a very niche overlapping audience right now. People who follow me for D&D stuff are watching a Sims stream and also watch Drag Race. That's that Venn diagram that we just covered in that little moment. And you're so welcome. Let's see. Jeffrey, we can do a Jeffrey. I'm gonna spell it this way, though. Jeffrey. Alessander is wild, but I am gonna add an Alice. All right, we got 2 more. We got 2 more in here. We can have an Alexis. Oh, I can't count. Now there's 2 more. Charlie is cute as a neutral name. I completely agree. One more. Next one gets it. It's hard though because there's a delay. And I always forget when I'm streaming just to YouTube to turn off the latency. So I don't know what the delay is. Bradford, Phineas, Bentley. Oh. Which one of those three am I going to go with? I think I'm going to go with Bradford. All right. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So, okay. Step 1. Make your list of names. Done. All right. Okay. Well, Tim Minchin and Ginger Minch are both making the same joke. So, I mean, if that helps at all. So now what we have to do, let me find the thing so that I can turn us to the correct deep-a-dee-boo, beep. Here we go. All right. So now I'm juggling. Everything is fine. Don't even worry about it. Okay. So what we're going to do, I apologize as I rearrange everything on my screen. I don't have 2 monitors set up yet. I just haven't reset up my streaming sort of area since I moved. And I understand it's been a long time and that I've streamed multiple times since then, but I still haven't got it together. My stream deck isn't set back up, my double monitors isn't set back up, so I'm just always juggling. So, you know, make of it what you will. Okay, all right. So, we're going to take, okay, this is step number 2. This is how we determine surnames, which also incidentally determines sibling sets. All right, so what we're going to do is, this is why the spelling is important. We're going to take the sum value. So okay. You know the old code breaking thing where you translate the letter of the alphabet to its number value? You know, 1 through 26. And we're going to take the value of each letter, add it together to find the total sum value of each of these names, right? Then we will compare it to a list of the 1,000 most common surnames in the United States of America. I use the United States of America because I specifically have been just mapping my game setting after, like, teen dramas that I like to watch. But, you know, you can pull up whatever surname list you want. It has to be quite substantial. In my experience, most name values land between sort of like 20 to 30 to 110-ish, right? But the point is you're going to need, like, to be safe, probably like 150 surnames that you're happy with. So if you were doing like a magic setting and you wanted the names to sound magic-y, you could just compile your own list and they get numbered 1 through whatever. And we're going to compare it to the list afterwards. But I'm just using the 1,000 most common last names in the US because that is super duper duper easy. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the names that we generated just now and we're going to add them into this this website that will tell us the value of each of the words. I find that super easy. I actually, the first time I did this, I didn't use a spreadsheet and I didn't use any calculators. I just did it in a notebook and I just added things up. But if you want to save time, this is the easiest possible way because this as well, each line is going to calculate separately. So it's just going to save us tons of time. Wait, we have a Bradley and a Bradford? We can't have a Bradley and a Bradford. I mean, we could, but I'll be unhappy about it. See what I mean? You need to make sure that you're happy with the list of names. I'm going to change Bradley's name to Brett. I'm sorry, Bradley. Brett. All right, great. Candace, Sean, Deanna, Rami, Lisa, Jack, Siobhan, Oleander, Stacy, whose mum has got it going on. See, but we don't decide the surnames. That's the thing about it. So what's going on here is I could just be making up names that I like, or using a random name generator to come up with names that I like, but I like discovering things about these background characters as I go, because it takes the burden off me having to choose for every individual one, because we're going to be generating sort of 150-ish characters here. And so I'm just pulling the sort of burden of choice off of that, and the whole point of this system is just... Could you not copy and paste that what list? The list of surnames? Oh, I guess I could, but I am not. I could copy and paste this list of names from my Excel spreadsheet. You are correct, but I am not doing that because I already started doing it this way, and an object in motion tends to stay in motion. But I appreciate you pointing out that that is definitely the better way to be doing this. Sybil, Marcus, Kimberly, Mickey, Amanda, Damien. All right, now we're going to copy paste the other list because, I don't know, I found a break in what I was doing, and for some reason I can do that. All right, so calculate, boom, give us the thing, give us the info. Yeah, I'm not a robot. I'm not a robot. Yeah. Okay, great. So I'm going to start by just doing this. 65, 39, 39. We've got 3 39s accidentally back to back. Do you see this? That's wild. 41, 41, 25, 68, 60, 81, 58, did I miss one? 89, 58, 81, 28, 59, 67. This is the really interesting sort of... Yeah, I apologize for this part. This is just data entry. 34. But then we get to do cross-referencing, and isn't that a delight? Okay. I've missed something. How did I miss something? What happened here? What happened here? No, but for real. For real, what happened here? Sybil. Who did I miss? Ronnie, 81. Wow, I missed someone way up. 68 was Stacy. Siobhan was also 68. Oh, I just jumped a couple. Okay. So Damien should be 46. Yeah. So doopity boop. I just combined the 68s. That's what happened. So 68, 74. Adrian, so I don't lose my place. Okay. 47, 30, 49. This is really putting to a test all those people who used to say that they would listen to me read out the phone book, because that was always a lie. And now I'll be able to prove it. 35, 59, 68. 94 to Genevieve. We're still on track. Okay, great. 70, 80, 71, 25, 59, 60 for Ginger, 38, 30, Jeffrey is 87. 70. Wow, we've got a lot of sibling sets in here. 56 and 68. All right. So now I'm just going to do, if I doop, boop, 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 real quick, I'm going to swap back to this page. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Got to make it the right size again. Okay. All right. So now I'm just going to sort them by their numbers so that I don't have to reshuffle everything so much. Okay, all right. Now we can start to see the sibling sets that have appeared. Okay, so we see 68, they're sisters. We've got, wow, 3 81s. 59. 68. So these cross over as well. There's 4 siblings there. See that? So Siobhan, Stacy, Caitlin, and Bradford are all siblings, right? You see that? You can do this at multiple points. I'm just doing it now. So yeah, it might indicate a good school district. Exactly. Like, you can see how as you start to find these connections between them, you start to realize things about the families and about the area that you're setting up, just kind of by the things that happen to fall together, right? So now I'm going to go, and I got to press this button again. And I'm going to, not you, going to go to the list of 1,000, blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. And I'm going to compare the numbers to my list of surnames. So, 25, Jack Harris. Oops. With a capital letter. 28, that's Jem Ramirez. And how are we spelling Ramirez? A. Ramirez. How do I keep losing where it is on my list? Ez. Yes. Good. I can't type at all. 34, King. 39, we get the Hills. Candace Hill. Sean Hill. Deanna Hill. Okay, 41, we've got the Greens. Rami and Lisa Green. 46, Rivera. 58. Scroll down a little bit. 58, Edwards. I'm getting PTSD with the surname Edwards. They cause so much drama in my other setting. Let me tell you. Collins. Grant. Reyes. Brett. 65. Cook. Brett Cook. 66 gives us Mickey Rogers. Sybil, 67, gives us Gutierrez. '68 gives us Ortiz, Siobhan and Stacy Ortiz. Which family seems insufferable? The Hills, maybe? Oleander. What kind of family would name their kid Oleander? The Kellys. Oleander Kelly. I keep missing capitals, and I almost don't care enough to fix it. Okay. Marcus Howard. Tiffany Watson. Jennifer Watson. Rodney Watson. Wesley Ruiz and Kimberly Patel. Those are our teenagers. Okay. How did I get another lowercase? Oh my gosh, they sneak in there. Look, Colby Jones, if they want to start a numerology religion, they're gonna need the religions mod for it. Now let's see. Scrolling back up. Bree and Alice Robinson. Cuckoo Cachoo. Cleo. Now, did we already have it? No, we didn't. Okay. Cleo Wright. Zach Nguyen. Cedric Adams. Adrian Campbell. Bruce Carter. Bruce seems like a Carter. I can't explain it. He just does. Greta Gomez. Love. Charlie Parker. It's a fun name. Oh, come on. These capitals. It's killing me. Come on. Well, if it's spelled with a Y, then they'd be the Kellys. Just... Oh, no. Now I'm second guessing it. The End King. No! Why are you... You're destroying my worldview. Collins. So we've got little siblings for the Collins who was over here for Gordo. So Gordo, Gareth, and Jaden Collins. Ah! They seem cute. Okay, 60. We got another Reyes, Ginger Reyes. The Kellys. Oh, no, sorry. Kelly's the first name this time. 65 is Cook. We got another Cook. Caitlin, 68. So you see how you end up with so many of them being related to each other? And it just kind of cuts out all of the work of having to, like, figure out what their connections could be to one another. Ashley and Alexis Cooper. We got Finley Peterson. We got Cassandra Richardson. Jeffrey Gray. Maxwell Hughes. Why will I never capitalize the letter H properly? 94 gives us Sanders, Genevieve Sanders. We've got Gertrude and Trevor Ross. All right. Wonderful. So now let's actually stick some family sets together. Who did we have? The Collinses, obviously. Oh, wait, actually, first, before I combine the kids and the teens, one thing that I do, so this is like step 3, I guess, with the children, because The Sims separates kids into, you have like newborn, infant, toddler, child, teen, and then young adult, blah, blah, blah. But so because I've got teens and kids, just generally kids, rather than having them all be kids, I use this as an option, as an opportunity to like separate out who the toddlers are as well. And I did that just by arbitrarily going, okay, if they have an even number of letters in their first name, then they're, I don't remember what it was originally, but it doesn't matter. So I can just be like, even numbers, they're going to be a child. Odd numbers, they're going to be a toddler. All right. So Bree... And I'm going to assign colors to it. Let's see. Come on, man. Come on, work with me here. There we go. So, Bree is going to be, what did I say? A child, right? So we're going to say that children are green, toddlers are blue, right? Alice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you are a toddler. See, it's that easy. That's 4 letters, green. 4 letters, green. Cedric is 6 letters, green. Adrian is 7, so we'll leave it. Bruce is 5, so we'll leave it. Greta is 5. Charlie, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jaden, 6. It also starts telling you something about the family because you start to look at it and go, okay, there's a really big age gap there, you know, stuff like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, great. And then the rest of them are toddlers. I don't know if this is even going to make good TikTok content when it cuts down. There's no pizzazz. It's just explaining things. It's not an emergency, but is all this just to play The Sims? Yes, Jeremy King, it is. Because I can't let things lie. This is what I mean when I talk about... Because I make a lot of videos about D&D, and so people tell me to play other games other than D&D, because clearly I don't like D&D, because I keep changing it, and I keep homebrewing. But what those people don't understand is that my brain is going to do this anyway. It does not matter what I'm playing, it does not matter how much I love it, this is what my brain does. It's like, I don't know, it's like the equivalent of taking your dog out to the park so that it can run around for a while. I just only make videos about D&D because I don't like punching down on like kids on bikes, right? So I do it no matter what I'm playing. But here's an example of me doing it even outside of TTRPGs. Yeah, well, in the end, King, I might end up having to, like, the thing is that this whole system, people then are just like, well, I just download Sims off the gallery. And you can do that at the end. But I enjoy playing in CAS, the creator sim. So that's like the fun part for me, is taking the concepts I've come up with and then sort of creating them in the creator sim. I have gamer brain. So, you know, it is what it is. Let's see. So who was who? Who's where? Who's what? Huh? Wow, I can't even type. Look at that cook. That's rough. Okay. So we know for sure that we have... I don't know why, but I feel like I need to... Just gonna move these over here for a second. Okay. Did we have any others of them? No. No other greens? No. We did have another Rivera, didn't we? Did we? Am I making that up? I might be making that up. Oh, it's Reyes. I was thinking of Reyes. There wasn't even a Reyes. No, there was. It's Grant. I forgot about Grant. Look, everything's fine. Collins. We have a bunch of Collinses. How many? 2 of them? So... Okay, then we get another Reyes. But only 1. I mean, at the very least, I'll be able to point to this and go, well, it took me this much time. And that's, you know, that's all we're really looking for at the end of the day, isn't it? It's only one of the Cook, Kelly Cook, Brett and Kelly Cook. No. We don't need Mickey Rogers in the mix. We don't need you playing with that Mickey Rogers boy. The Ortizes. And I might swap Caitlin and Bradford around, actually, just so that, well, let's do that in the middle. That way it will have had a purpose. Just because we know that Bradford... Wait. Yes. Blue was toddlers. We know that Bradford is older. So, can cut, put that back there. So now they're loosely in birth order. Well, that's just it, the McRib. Often people tell me that what I'm doing is just programming on paper instead of on a computer. Sometimes I think that I would be capable of great things if I could sit down and learn something for once in my goddamn life. But as it stands, I don't do that. So here we are. All right. Okay. So there's our full list of teens and children from this sort of name generating method. So that's what, steps 1, 2, maybe 3. I lost count at some point. The next step is going to be determining, let's see, what's on the list. I'm going to just write it down. Only child. Who's an only child? So looking at the people who don't already have a determined, sibling set, who's going to not have any siblings, okay? And then that will, by extension, tell us who, if they are not an only sibling, they must have other siblings who just aren't within this age bracket, right? So that tells us more about these people. So only children, single parents, same-sex parents. We're going to look for... What else should we look for? What kind of things do we want to cover in here? Because this is just... Again, when I was originally doing this, I just threw together various ideas that came to mind. We could do orphans if we really wanted to, or adopted. Adopted might be fun. We could do blended families. Might be tricky. I haven't done it yet, but could be interesting to see how that comes together. Am I missing anything really obvious? Well, we may as well start for these. Okay, so now I'm going to really quickly look up what the percentages are. All right, so where are the stats, baby? Okay. What percentage of children in USA are only children? Because the surveys really have you covered. 22% according to this thing that I just looked at, but that might not be the correct answer, but that's, I'm just doing it. Single parents, all right. What percentage of children in USA have only, let's say raised by a single parent? 23%. We're gonna look at what percent of children in USA raised by same-sex parents. Okay, that's telling me that 14% of same-sex couples are parenting, but that's not the same as what I asked, because I'm starting with the data set of the children, so I have to go the other direction. Not that this matters. Again, you can make up the percentages that you're using, like just how many of each do you want in your game. Like, that's not... It's whatever. No, that's not what I'm asking. I had all these stats written down. They're just in a notebook that isn't here. This is 4%. I don't know if that's accurate, but let's go with it because that's what's happening. Adopted. How many kids? Are these stats the same for the 1980s? Almost certainly not. But I don't care enough because I'm not looking for realism. I'm looking for verisimilitude, and I don't really mind being like, yeah, sure, my 1980s can be more gay than the actual 90s. Like, they can be more openly gay than, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to go in on realism, you can dig up those specific things. But for me, it's not like priority. But that was a good question. Percentage adopted. 2% apparently. Sounds wrong to me somehow, but maybe that's a matter of that says 7%. Well, it's just I just wonder whether it's a matter of like definition between adoption versus fostered versus you know, whatever. Yeah, well, it's just about what feels reasonable enough for the world that you're building, right? And so depending on what your priorities are in your storytelling, shifting the sort of borders of what falls into the truthiness of verisimilitude rather than I keep wanting to say realism, but it's not even realism. Realism people use as a term to mean realistic or like simulated, right? Like it is real or it is accurate. But realism is a genre that it's verisimilitude. It feels like it is kind of, it feels true. It's the Aristotelian concept of true. Yeah, for sure. Exactly, friendship, you know? Okay, blended families. Let's see whether the Google search understand. I'm so sick of this AI thing at the top of every Google search. It is never useful. And it takes up so much space. And for some reason, in my region, I'm not allowed to turn it off. Okay. And that's how they became the Brady Bunch. 16%. All right. Now let's see. Okay, so 22%, 23%. All right, great. And so I have how many? 48. So 48, 22% of 48 is... So what I'm doing now, okay, I keep forgetting that I'm actually meant to be explaining this. So I found what the statistical, broad, very general statistical likelihood of any of these given things being for a minor in the United States of America. And now I am doing a wee bit of maths to find out, okay, 22% of the total population, my total population of children is 48. So that means 22% of 48 is just under 11. I'm not rounding up, I'm rounding down because you can't have 0.56% of a child. So yeah. Oh, you know what? The End King, I am strongly considering it. Interesting, Seeker. Profanity in the search bar disables the AI. Intriguing. Because it's just really annoying. My favorite thing is still the time someone Googled a particular episode of Buffy. They were just trying to find out like what episode number it was. And the AI fully went on and just made up a whole villain character. They were like, so-and-so was shot in a cornfield by a witch who is also a vampire. What? Glenda the witch vampire, a recurring character on the show. That's wild. Like, clearly someone at some point had made a joke about the Wizard of Oz in relation to Buffy, and the system really took it and ran. All right. So these are approximate numbers that we can start working with. So 10 of these kids total are going to be only children. Now we know that those only children are not going to be any of these ones who have sibling sets. So we can just kind of randomly determine from the other ones who is going to be who. So, someone in chat, give me a number. Like a single digit number. Tell that to King Solomon, Dale. Mr. Grundle, the secret Buffy villain. Yeah, imagine being a vampire and a witch and deciding to shoot someone. 7, thank you so much. So I'm just going to do this by doing this. 1, 2, 3, skip 4, 5, skip 6, 7. So Sybil is an only child. And I'm going to just start writing these notes here. Only child. All right. And then we continue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cedric Adams is an only child. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Jeffrey Gray is an only child. You get it. 1, 2. Whoa, loops back up to the top. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Daisy Edwards is an only child. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's basically playing the match game. If you ever played that as a kid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, loop back around. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Makes sense that Oleander Kelly would be an only child with a name like that. So how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So we need 3 more. Wow, it's a lot of only children. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Greta. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not only is Amanda King a handful, she's also an only child. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. See, so it's like just everything I'm doing. It's not like it's some like master system. It's just an arbitrary system that makes the choices for me. So 11 children have only parents. So the next single digit number someone gave me was 6. So we're gonna go. Actually, someone else said 8. So we'll start at 8, right? Arbitrary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Grant and Ginger have a single parent. And that gives us 2. So it was 6 was the number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whew, that's a lot for one person. Oh my golly. See, this is probably flawed because, of course, this big block of 4 kids is going to be more likely to be hit than the only children. So I should have thought about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my god. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them so far. Single. Stop it. Single parent. Single parent. So there's 3 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only child. Also single parent. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Jeffrey Gray, single parent. 1 more, right? We're in the wrong section. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow. Okay. That's a great question. How many of these kids do we listened to Ozzy? I mean, folks were chatting in the MCDM sort of friends Discord this morning, It's just pretty cool. Like, Ozzy Osbourne holding out to get through that last show is pretty sick. I don't know. I just, yeah. Same-sex parents. Only 2 of them. Number 9, and the next person said 7. I'm going to need some more single-digit numbers in a minute. So someone said 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the Cooks are raised by same-sex parents. All right. And then adopted. We just look back around, I guess. 4. We got 1. We got 4. And 3. Thank you so much. 1, 2, 3. Rami and Lisa are adopted. Well, actually, Rami is adopted. Lisa, seemingly, only 1 kid is adopted. Lisa seemingly is not adopted. So there you go. Blended family. So we got a 3 and a 1. So starting at 3, 1. Okay, so the Hills are blended. So that's 3. I'm going to skip the 1 because I don't think it works. So 3, 1, 2, 3. Blended. And we can figure out after the fact who all is blended with who. 1, 2, 3. This is wild. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there you go. That's all of them. Okay, so that gives us our sort of random spread of stats for step number, whatever the hell that was. So I'm going to move these to the side. Just going to move them over here because they're not really important anymore. Okay. So that gives us that. I should probably do my thing. If we want there to be pre-seeded drama between the teens, I like to randomly determine some people who were dating and some people who were exes. You could, I'm using chat to generate the numbers, but you can like roll a die. Like you can use a random number generator. You can do whatever. So we're going to do it in pairs. Someone roll a d4. Or give me a number between 1 and 4. Either works. One time I played kittens in a blender with my sisters and someone, I don't remember who the 4th person was. And they just would not stop working together to save the kittens from the blender. And they think I'm the one who's being weird. But I'm like, but at that point we're not playing a game. Now we're just handing cards back. That we're just sorting. We are just, as a group, sorting cards. And that's fine, but let's not pretend that we're playing a game. Anyway, hey Matt, how's it going? Sika, see, that's too many stats for me. That's too many stats. But okay, these numbers, thank you so much. 3, 3, 1, 2. Yeah, okay, great. So we're going to go, because the first 2 numbers were both 3, that means that there are going to be 3 couples, people who are currently dating, and there are going to be 3 sets of exes, people who were dating, but now they've broken up. So we're going to, you know what, KB Tibbs? I recognize that you were being a rebel and that 5 is not a number between 1 and 4, but I'm going to use that 5 now. So, all right, we're only looking at the teens here. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Sean is dating. So let's just highlight Sean for a second, for one little moment. Sean is dating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Daisy. All right. Let's just make a note of it here, shall we? Sean Hill X Daisy Edwards. All right. Now the next pair are X's. See? All right. Yeah, the point was rebellion, and I won't let you rebel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ginger is a child. Why am I doing this wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sybil is X's with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tiffany. Sybil. I should, you know what? They have to be X's, so you can't be an X. You have to be a slash. Sybil. X. Tiffany. No longer dating. Drama, drama, drama. All right. I'm enjoying myself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jack is dating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rami. Rami's surname is Green. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brett Cook is X's with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Marcus. What? Not Rami. Who was it? It was Brett. Brett. I can't spell. Brett Cook. X. Marcus. Y'all are silly. Y'all are being silly in chat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jem Ramirez is dating. Wow, they're all dating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Damien Rivera. You know what I've done wrong here? Is that I was skipping over. I have to start from round 2 again. I was skipping. When I'm doing the X's, I am skipping over people who are currently in relationships. And if I want the drama, I actually shouldn't do that. So I gotta undo some of these. Brett, undo. And you two undo. So starting from the second round again. So Jack is dating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Jack is dating Rami. X's. I don't skip them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grant. Yes. Grant is X's with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stacy. X's are counted differently from affairs because I'm not looking to... Because these are just background characters, right? I want there to be little pockets of drama, but I don't want to force drama. Like, if it gets revealed that it's like, oh, so-and-so is dating someone who is someone else's ex, then you can start to unravel that and start going, oh, maybe there was an affair. But I don't want to force the drama because then you end up with too much drama for the background characters and it gets weird trying to have your character have main character energy. Stacy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rodney is dating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Candace. After all that, it's not even going to happen. Rodney dating Candace. And X's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Damien is X's with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mickey. See, didn't even happen. Damien, X, Mickey. All right. So we start to know that. Just going to clear all that up so it's not filling up the screen. Okay. So now at this point is when I take you over to... Yeah, Matt, of course you don't know what it means. Of course you don't. Do you play The Sims? No! You don't! Go do this with Stellaris or something. Come on, man. So all right, Wayward Wasp, what's going on is that I made a TikTok that was just showing off. I had thrown together a really simple but ludicrous kind of randomization system for making up a bunch of background drama for my world in The Sims, just for NPCs in the background, so that if you stumble into any of it, you know, there's stuff already happening and people already know each other. But I posted that, and everyone on Sims TikTok kind of freaked out a little in terms of they felt that it was very complicated and that there might be something wrong with me. And I'm not saying that they're wrong, but a lot of them were asking, how long did it take? How difficult was it? How do I do it step by step? So I just thought I would hop on a stream because the timestamps will tell me how long each step took, generally speaking. So that's what we're doing here today. I would play Stellaris but a dating sim. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to your face. Well, okay, look, Matthew. This is not The Sims. This is pre-gaming The Sims. This is session prepping The Sims, okay? I don't need to open up The Sims in order to be playing The Sims, all right? Needing to open the game is amateur hour. So anyway, let me open up my other Excel spreadsheet to show you. I don't... yeah, okay, well... Excel 2... This one. Okay, yeah. That's good. Good. Now I'm gonna put that here. And I'm gonna do this. So this is a spreadsheet made by Rosanna TXT on... You know what, actually, Matt? It is kind of a little bit like Fantasy Football, but The Sims. It is a little bit like that. So if you don't know, when you play The Sims, you make characters, and it's a very silly life simulation game. But I don't like the sort of NPC characters that are already in the game. They don't fit the tone of the game that I want to play. So I have deleted all of them, and I'm replacing them with my own. But as part of that, I need to have them have pre-existing connections in the world and jobs and lives and things like that going on. So this was my sort of slapdash method of doing that without having to make too many choices. So anyway, this is a spreadsheet that was made by Rosanna TXT on YouTube. And it's got all the different levels of, like, you know, it's just good. It's just good. And it includes, you know, all the information for all the different worlds that have been released, or up to Ravenwood, so up to Life and Death, because I haven't downloaded an updated version of it. But I don't have anything after Life and Death, which was an expansion pack. For people who don't play The Sims, that's an expansion pack. I don't have any of the packs after that, so I don't need to worry about it. But, you know, you've got Sims jobs that they might have. You've got different types of venues to make sure that you've got a good spread of venues. And then over here, it tracks the different kinds of Sims that you can have. And then, yeah. Anyway, so you can start to, I would at this point start putting in all the information that we've put together of these other Sims. So, you know, that's... I do recognize that there is something wrong with my brain. I get it. But this is what we're doing. This is who we are now. Sorry, I'm just making it so that I can see chat at the same time. That's all. So, you know, yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, I decided to start looking into D&D. So Heavy Metal Game Master in chat, who makes great content. Um, yeah, yeah, we got to be amused as everyone on Sims TikTok started telling me to check out D&D. Well, no, because Matt, because I need to, because if I'm going to create them in the Creator Sim like dress up doll section of the game, I have to know what they are like and who they are. All right, I have to know. It's important. Anyway, so I'm gonna start entering this information now because we can start to sort of compare the notes that we have and find out who else we need to create based on that. So we have Jack Harris. Jack Harris must have. Actually, I'm gonna do surname first so that they're all grouped. Harris. Why do I never capitalize the H's? Harris, comma, Jack. Yeah, well, that's exactly it, friendship. It's I understand that the system is ludicrous. I understand that the purpose of the system is ludicrous, but you can sort of cannibalize it for other stuff. So, Jack has to have another sibling, whether they be infant age, so younger than toddler, or young adult. The fact that Jack is a teenager and doesn't have any other younger siblings listed, obviously, means that it's more likely to be a young adult. So we're just going to put in XXXX for now, and we're going to call them a young adult for now. So that's the sibling. He doesn't have any notes telling me that he's from a blended family or a single parent or anything like that. So we're going to go parent A, Harris, parent B, right? So this is, you see what I mean? You start with the kids and it automatically tells you stuff about them. Because they have, because then I don't have to make the choice of who are the adults in this world, because we've got a minimum bunch of parents in the mix. Quadruple X is my cousin's name. All right. Jem Ramirez, similar situation. Ramirez, Jem. And yeah, probably another young adult. Ramirez, XXXX. They're going to be a young adult. I'm just going to do their things so that I don't forget for later. The Hills. Wow, three teenagers. Okay, that's fine. I mean, I guess that makes sense. There was a tiny period of time. Hills. There was a tiny period of time where I guess Shannon, Reese, and I were all in high school at the same time. So I guess that makes sense. But our high school is longer than American high school. So I don't know. And Deanna. And they have... we know that they have... Hills or Hill? Just Hill. We know that they are from a blended household. So it's probable that they have like a step-parent, I would guess. Exactly, Colby Jones. It's work to avoid making world-building choices. It's world-building. It's getting it done. But I don't have to make choices. I get to discover things along the way, which is infinitely more fun. How long will you spend in character creator for these townies? That's a really good question. Depends on how many outfits I want to make for them, how much effort I want to put into it. Because you can literally just go and download Sims that you like from people's, pages where they share them, or you can go and download them off the gallery, and you could just give them the names and the traits that you're looking at. Like you can kind of make that as lazy or as in-depth as you want to. The thing is that I like that part of the game. So I go the long way around and, go hunting for CC and whatever. And I take my sweet, sweet time. Well, but that's just it, friendship, is that because they're NPCs, a lot of them aren't even going to have houses. A lot of them are going to just sort of exist as, like, not in world people, but the game can pull from them when it needs to populate an area, right? So they just kind of exist floating around in the ether, but the game, when you load in with your characters and you go, hey, I'm going to, I don't know, I'm gonna go to the bubble tea store or whatever. You show up on that lot and the game goes, okay, we need we need 10 other Sims on this lot. And it can pull from these ones that are just floating around in the background. So they don't technically need houses. But, you know, the most interesting ones might get houses. If they're very, very good. So I'm going to say that the hills probably have a step parent. So we're going to go surname. Parent B. I don't know. I don't know what that's going to look like yet. That might change down the line. But even The Sims has a housing crisis. Truly. No, we can't do a series of this. The last time I tried to play Sims on stream, I worry about, if I'm actually in The Sims, I worry that it's so boring because I'm a bad builder. I kind of lock in when I'm doing CAS in a boring way. Yeah, I don't know. Green, Rami. We do know that Rami is adopted, but I don't know how that would be reflected in this at this point because they have the surname. They've taken on the surname. Lisa, there's no other notes about being blended or having a single parent or anything. So green parent A, green parent B. Ordinarily at this point, I would just be naming them arbitrary things on the way through. So feel free to start just chucking in names for these characters, by the way. What percentage of the way through this process would I say I am? I would say like maybe 60%. But the rest of the work isn't particularly arduous, or at least I don't find it arduous. It's just kind of assigning names to people and then figuring out based on that. The interesting stuff that comes up later. So from here it's just you have to go, do they have who are their parents? Do they have older siblings or younger siblings? And then based on those things, you start finding little areas where you go, oh, I made this little decision at the beginning and that's had a ripple effect and, you know, blah, blah, blah. But that part's fun because you start to discover pockets of drama where you're like, okay, well, I just gave that person a sister, but now suddenly because of the surname that their arbitrarily assigned name gave them, it means that they're connected to these people. It becomes a whole thing. And can you import this stuff into The Sims? Import implies that it would be a somewhat automated system. No. But I can manually put it into The Sims, yes, which is what I do. The thing that sucks about this whole thing is that I'm just doing all the work that I've already just done. Like, I just did all this for my own game. And I'm just doing it again to show you how it works and see how long it takes. How long have we been streaming so far? An hour and a half. Oh my gosh, that's not bad at all. I'm so correct. It's not even that hard. Okay, Nathan, interesting question. You bring up occults. That is an interesting question. I don't know how I would decide occults. And that's largely because I only have vampires and werewolves in my Sims game. But if you wanted to, like, assign occults, I'm not sure how you would do that. Like, I wonder whether you would have to predetermine, like, I want this percentage of them to be vampires or whatever. You could do it in any number of other ways. If you wanted a lot of them to be occults, I've wondered about before the naming process, just going, all right, if their surname starts with this letter, then they're going to be this thing. But I don't know. I haven't done it with occults yet. Because the whole system that I do here is just, it's so arbitrary. It's just like randomly going, okay, well, I need a number. Bam, let's use that number and count through the list. Like, it's it's not like it is a very sophisticated system. It is just a slapdash randomization system. Rivera, Damien, who's part of a blended family. Okay, that's interesting. Do we think that Damien Rivera... Oh, that's fun. Let's do that. Okay, so we've already got this blended family up here, right? And we know that Damien is also from a blended family. So why not blend those two families? Because that's not a crazy amount to be blending. So let's go Rivera. Damien becomes part of that family, which means that this person's surname is probably Rivera. All right. That's a great question, Friendship, and I do not know the answer to it. Because even though I have vampires in my game, I don't play with them very much. I have big dreams. That's true, Colby. That's true. Okay. Edwards. Daisy. Any notes on Daisy? Daisy's an only child, but that's also parent A. Edwards. Parent B. Yeah, if people just start chucking names for parents and older siblings in the chat, the surnames that their names add up to doesn't matter at this point. It only comes up in select instances when you need to generate a surname for someone. But we already know what the surnames of these people are likely to be, so just chuck names in there and it'll be good. So Collins. Gordo. Maybe I could have blended Damien with the Collins family. Oh well. Gareth. Jaden. I mean, it's possible that they all just took on the surname, but that'll be interesting. And we're gonna need a surname for whoever this parent is anyway to find out what connections they have later down the line. Just chuck names. Well, we had Chuck in chat earlier giving names. Okay. We got Marshall. Yeah. So Jack's older sibling is Marshall Harris. Did you spell it with one L? You did. All right. Parent A, Shane. Parent B, Stephanie. Also get a comma in there. Ramirez. Christopher. Heather. Heather Hill. What a name. Tom. Susan. Charles. Chuck names. Becky. Everett. Virginia. Jude. Cool. We'll find out what Jude's name is later. All right. So that was the Collinses, Reyes. Like this part of the process where I'm just transferring the information that I already figured out is the most boring part of it. And I apologize for that. Single parent, only one parent. But likely still a Reyes. Penelope. because that was the first name I saw. Cooks, Brett, and Kelly. Now they have same-sex parents. So do we reckon Brett and Kelly have 2 dads or 2 mums? Well, I'm seeing Clyde, so I guess they have 2 dads. Clyde Cook, what a name. And... 'twas the Feast of St. Crispin's. We few, we happy few. Oh, Sloan is a great name. We need to remember Sloan. Y'all, look, Evanstone, your false names are very funny, but I will not choose them. So you can keep, like, typing them in chat, but this is going to be the last time that I acknowledge them. Cillian. Or Killian. I always prefer, in my head, I pronounce it Cillian, and I'm sad that it's Killian, but I acknowledge it. I accept it. Mickey Rogers. Now, there are no notes next to Mickey, which means that they likely have an older sibling. In the original version, I had, like, another sort of slightly complicated layer where I would decide whether their sibling was an older sibling or a younger sibling, but I just actually don't think that it matters. I think that it's easier to do it based on where the closest age group would be, because that is more likely. You can appreciate that. Okay. Gutierrez. What's her name? Sybil. Only child. Okay. But no notes on the parents, so... I mean, you're asking me about, I assume, a musician, but I'm going to take the name Ken. And there are a bunch of feminine names up there. Jillian. Okay, all right. Oh, Eduardo's good too. I mean, we can use Eduardo on the next one, but it's also just like, oh no, well, the next ones are the Ortizes, so. Okay, Siobhan. We've got Stacy, whose mum we know has got it going on. Ortiz Bradford. Ortiz Caitlin. Okay, and they have a single parent who was going to be Eduardo. So let's do it. Ortiz, comma, Eduardo. All right. Okay. Kelly, comma, Oleander, who is an only child. The K's and the H's, I just never capitalize. Okay. Lewis and Magdalena. This stream is the ultimate background noise stream, honestly. Howard, comma, Marcus, who has no notes and therefore likely has an older sibling. Oh, I completely forgot to give the older sibling a name. Completely forgot to. Ray. This older sibling's name will be Trisha. Thank you. Their parents shall be Leslie and I just cannot spell. Leslie, and as you said, Leslie is gender neutral. So we've got wait, did we already have a kid whose name is Alice? We've got a kid whose name is Alice. It's not bad. But maybe we'll take thank you, Ebenstone, Vera. All right. And we have the Watsons. Tiffany. Jennifer. And Rodney, who have no notes beside them. So their parents are likely Dwayne. There we go. Thank you so much. And I probably will. The reason that I don't lose track of who is the parent and who is the sibling is purely the order that I write things in. So I always start with the teen or child, right? And then their other siblings that are not on the list get added next, and the last two or one are the parents. Plus I've got my other thing of notes to keep me on top of it. But you are correct that I should be adding little things next to them to say, sorry, I'm trying to find an older sibling, but they're all parents. Ray is an older sibling, so I can just chuck that in, and it sort of signals to me. Or, sometimes I'll highlight them in a different color. Further down the line, you can sort of say what household they're in, and usually, because on this tab, you say who's living in each household. And so if it's an older sibling who lives out of home or whatever, I will have a note of it there, or I'll just, there are different places to put those notes in. I'm just kind of skimming through that because I'm able to remember pretty okay at the moment who is an older sibling and who is not. But you are not incorrect. So we got Dwayne, we got Alicia. Thank you. One day we'll be free of this, I promise you. I promise you that. Okay. Ruiz. Wesley Ruiz. Who has no notes, so there's probably an older sibling. So their name can be Lance, is there? Lance and Wesley Ruiz. Whose parents can be Harper, that's fun, and Stuart. Okay. Patel. Wow. We got shockingly few Asian surnames in this particular mix. We got shockingly few. I think we only got a Nguyen and a Patel. That's kind of wild. But here we go. Kimberly Patel. No notes, so probably an older sibling. Whose name is Brad. Parents named Henry and Clarissa. Thank you. We're up to Robinsons, who are a single parent family. Bree and Alice, who are both young. So we're out of the teens sort of fully now. So I think that I mean, it's just something to sort of keep in the back of your head now as we start working through this other half of the families, because now we're really delving into like, okay, so this is a single parent household and it's fairly early on still. Not that it necessarily makes a huge difference, but Janine, I got the right, Cleo Wright, who no notes, and this is a child. So now it could go either way. This is fun. Do we flip a coin? I have a cool flipping coin, but I don't know where it is. For this one, because they are child age, right? So it's pretty equidistant whether we're dealing with an infant, so younger than toddler, or a young adult sibling. So they could have a much older sibling or they could have a much younger sibling. So I'm going to flip a coin. We're going to say heads is much older and tails is much younger. So flip a coin. Boopity boop. I never trust the automated flip. I always have to click it myself. Thank you so much. Heads, they have a much older sibling, whose name is Nadia. And there's no notes. They have both parents. Howard. We've kind of... Howard. Right. Cassidy. Right. Thank you. Now we've got Nguyen. Zach, who is an only child, but seemingly both parents of opposite sex. I like Julian. Yeah, Laurel, why not? Okay. Cedric Adams is also an only child. Owen and Denise. Campbell, Adrian, also an only child. Miles and Leilana. We've got Bruce Carter. Finally, we're free. Bruce is a toddler, so probably has a younger sibling. So the younger sibling's name will be... We already have a Siobhan. We're going to go with... Let me scroll back up with my eyes. We missed a Rowan earlier. That's fun. I like that. Bruce and Rowan Carter. Nicely gender neutral as well, so we can decide later. And they seemingly have two opposite gender parents. So we get... Oh, Tilly's a fun name. I love a Tilly. And... Maddox, maybe? Yeah, why not? I'm going to spell it different to you, though. I'm sorry. Greta Gomez, only child of a single parent. What am I doing? Gomez. Katya. Greta and Katya Gomez. Okay. Charlie Parker. And Charlie Parker, nothing. So probably a younger sibling. Selena. Yeah, I already did check Sloan in again, but thank you for reminding me. I put them in somewhere up here. I don't know where, but they are in there. They're in there. Rest assured. There they are. Sloane Rogers. Okay. Marnie. And we need one more for the Parkers. Shane. Okay. We're getting so close to the end of this list. We're getting so close. Okay, so we got 2 child age Coopers, Ashley and Alexis. I don't know about you, but to me, that screams of twins. That screams of twins. But we'll come back for that. So we're going to flip a coin again because they are of child age, so they're equidistant. So we don't know whether they have a younger sibling or an older sibling. They might have multiple. I'm just saving myself time by only doing one for each of them. So this is a younger sibling, which I should note here. Infant. And who was it earlier who got older? It was Cleo. Who got young adult. Okay. Okay. Shannon. And then parents. I'll give him a Jean-Luc. I can't be stopped. I'll give him a Jean-Luc. I'm not afraid. Jean-Luc and Henrietta. I'm just putting on the French accent because with an Henriette and Jean-Luc, that is starting to feel quite French. All right. Who's next? So that's the Coopers. We've got Finley Richardson, who has nothing, which means that we have to flip the coin again. Older sibling, younger sibling. Older sibling. Oops, nope, not you. Not you. You're a child. You are a young adult. Okay. Xander with Z. That's fun. Okay. Richardson. I've got a Peter up there. I didn't mean for that to be Pete. Is Pete Richardson a person? Is that a name I've heard? Ruby. Okay. Oh, these are Petersons, not Richardsons. Well, let's just fix that. We can't have Peter Peterson. No, we can't have Peter Peterson. I draw the line. I draw the line. I have standards. Austin, sure. Austin plus Dallas. Okay. We gotta get out of this phase. This is too... We're getting too silly now. Peterson. All right. Now we're at the Richardsons. Okay, we're so close. We're so close. Cassandra, who has nothing but is a toddler, so probably has a younger sibling whose name is Imogen. Okay. They also have parents whose names are Peter, because we lost Peter earlier, and also I'm gonna take... Oh no, there's a Jan there. I'll take a Jan. Gray, comma, Jeffrey. Alright, who is an only child and has a single parent, whose name is Duncan. Maxwell Hughes. Hughes. Maxwell, who is an only child, but seemingly has 2 parents. Lilith. And Dante. Okay, Sanders. Genevieve. Did you all get Madeline in other places? She's Madeline, she's Madeline. Who has a younger sibling whose name is... You can't just start... Are you deliberately listing my siblings' names? If not, that's wild. We've already got a Gordo. There were some good names further up. Lavar is fun. And... I'm gonna take that Philippa and that Philip and turn it into Philippa. Is that how you spell Philippa? Is it 2 P's? Philippa, Philip, Philip, Philippa, Philippa, Philip. And finally, the Ross siblings. We have Gertrude. I'm so sorry, Gertrude. I'm sorry they did this to you. And we have Trevor. Trevor and Gertrude Ross, who are both children. No notes next to them for parents, which means that they have both of them. So Skylar and... I will take Alfonso. Skylar and Alfonso. There we go. Done. We did it. We did it. Let me double check my stats, because we only had one... Oh, wow, so it was the siblings who had the same-sex parents. That's wild. Okay. I was just like, wasn't there meant to be 2 sets of same-sex parents? But actually, no, because it was 2 kids being raised by same-sex parents that happened to be siblings. Okay. So, did we miss any older siblings? No, I don't think we did. Did we? Oh, Genevieve. That's who. I'm still not settling on whether it's Genevieve or Genevieve. It was a younger sibling, wasn't it? All right. Okay. Oh, you guesstimated 115 and we did 116? That is wild. That is wild. My goodness. Very nicely done, gang. Very nicely done. That's the real grind set part of this process. But we did it. We did it. Here we go. And then, so that gives you all these characters already who have familial connections with one another, right? And then we've already noted people, I did forget to enter that. We've already noted people who are in relationships. So Sean Hill and Daisy Edwards. So where are you, Sean Hill? Okay. I wish there were more detailed versions of that, but we'll take it. Daisy Edwards. Boop. And I mean, I can just I could add notes in elsewhere, but I mean, I don't mind cross-referencing. And then we've got Jack and Rami are dating. Rami. We've got, who was the third who were dating? Rodney and Candace. I don't remember what their surnames are. Candace was a Hill. Rodney was a... Rodney Watson. Okay. Damn, the Hills can get it. All right. Rodney Watson. Okay. Good. I am going to start just putting in who are teenagers and things like that. Oh, we did already have a Shane. It doesn't, like, matter. It doesn't matter having the same name, but I am going to swap it out for... I've already got a Trev as well. I'll swap it out for David. Sure, why not? Okay. Cool. I wish that young adults and adults were also not split up. But that's fine. It's that do da 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 ba 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 da 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 ba da ba da 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 ba da ba da. Wow, 4 teens in the one household. Can you imagine? Ooh. Okay, and you're probably... I was gonna differentiate between young adults and adults again, but here we are. And the only reason really to go through and do all this is so that it shows up in your dashboard over here, because you start to see, it starts to populate the numbers. So you can kind of just keep track of if you're getting too skewed in one direction or another. Gordo was a teen, right? And then these two are kids. What I should be looking up is percentage of twins. Does anyone have at hand the stats for twins? Because anytime you get 2 siblings who are in the same age bracket, I start to look at it and go, are any of them twins? I don't make all of them twins because, I mean, like I went to school with kids who were in the same grade who weren't twins. You know what I mean? But, okay, Jude. I have to compare Jude. The old system. Let's do it. Let's swap it over. Let's do the thing. So if I do this and then bam, and then I go over to there, and I go, no, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. It's over. It's here. It's here. I found it. So I'm gonna just quickly delete everyone here. Find out what Jude is equal to. I'm not a robot. When did it start asking me if I'm a robot every time? 40. Which gives us, I think oh, there we go, a Flores. So we didn't end up with a particularly juicy surname there, but it does tell us what their surname is. Flores. Okay. 3% are twins. Okay. Handy dandy. And 3% of 48 is... Because I refuse to go back and recount how many kids there are now that we're including young adults and infants in the mix. I simply refuse. That's not handy because that just says 2. 2 of these 48 kids are twins. But all right. I think that the twins have to be the Coopers, right? I'm sorry, but Ashley and Alexis, that's twins behavior. Were they toddlers or were they... They're children. Cool. Hey, Jude, don't make it bad. Take a sad song and make it better. I forgot that we're on YouTube and that could actually get me in trouble. Raise. Okay, so we've got 1 teenager and 1 child. So I don't know, you just look at this and you start to see the kind of, the shape of it come together in terms of like, oh, isn't it interesting that in this household, it's a teenager and then like a toddler. So there's a bit of a gap there between Brett and Kelly. What caused that? You know what I mean? You start to just sort of ask questions. And it doesn't have to be deep. It doesn't have to be anything, but it's just, you know, the old trick, eh? Just asking questions and seeing what you think the answer is already. Imagine nowadays naming your kid Sybil. I just want you to imagine that. It's not even that I dislike the name, but it's just like, imagine being a Sybil in the modern age. Remember to let her into your heart. Then you can start to make it better. I can't get that deep. Do 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 do. Man, Eduardo is doing the Lord's work. 4 kids, single parent. I have to imagine that Lewis and Magdalena are pretty weird. I have to. There's something about having only one child and naming that child Oleander that's just a little bit unusual. They might be hippies. They might be hippies. I also wish that there was an option for the relationships to say exes. But, okay. It is what it is. Kelly Cook was either an accident or a band-aid. That's crazy to say, but also, you're not wrong. Where did she go? There she is. Ooh. Ooh, what's going on, Clyde and Killian? Oh no! Those are the dads! Those are the dads! Those are the gay dads! Wait, that changes everything. That actually changes everything. So if you... Wait. I didn't even think about it. So Brett and Kelly. So Brett, teenager. Kelly, toddler. Gay dads. Clyde and Killian. So they waited for that long. Because how old is high school for all y'all over there? For us, high school starts at 13. But you're what? 15? Something like that? Interesting. Brett was the late edition. Interesting. So you've got 15 and then a toddler. A toddler. That's a long time. You're waiting like 10 years. Maybe they just adopted both at the same time. I know that we've got the adopted stats and that we said that only Rami was adopted, but now I'm like, if you've got a 14-year-old and a 4-year-old and the ways in which they can acquire children, acquire is the wrong word. I'm just saying, maybe they were like unsure, do we adopt a kid who's young or do we adopt a kid who's a bit older? And maybe they just kind of liked both. And they were like, actually, in the end, we can't choose and we want both kids. Is that what's happening there? See, this is where it starts getting fun again. You see what's happening? Science babies are expensive. Are they expensive in The Sims, though? Because you can try for science baby very easily. Not that, I mean, I know that I'm doing all of this to make The Sims not Simsy, but that's interesting. Very interesting. No, not a team. Not a team. There we go. Yeah, I agree, Chase. It's not that surprising. You know, it's like I have friends who are technically the youngest of 5 siblings, but there's like a whole lifetime between them and their next closest sibling. Like I know that, but there's something about them being the only gay couple in town with kids and that age gap that makes it too interesting to dig into that to leave it as the simplest version. Does that make sense? Interesting. David Harrison, recently married and had 1 kid each from previous relationships. Now, they didn't end up on my list of blended families, but I'm just saying, I'm going to follow where I'm led. I'm not going to be beholden to the stats necessarily, but I do like to keep the stats as I like to keep them as much as possible because it adds this guideline. But very interesting. Yeah. Yeah, that's the sort of thing that's true as well, KB Tibbs. But it's you know that's the reason that we ask the questions. It's like, why is that? Because it could be any of these things that caused this age gap or whatever. But I do think that the likely answers or the interesting answers are different for the only gay couple in town with kids versus if it was, you know, a heterosexual parent situation. What am I doing? I just got so distracted. Who am I? Where do I live? What's going on? Robinsons? 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 There they are. Hello. And Alice is a toddler. Stop it. Occam's razor burn, the simplest explanation is too obvious. Well, Nathan, we all get got by the Sims eventually. You can't escape forever. Cleo Wright is a kid. I don't even know how much more of this there actually is to do. Because the rest of it, I mean, I'm going to try to find an example. I was hoping that Watsy Flores was going to help us out there. But for example, right? Let's just find someone who's only got one parent. Janine Robinson, okay, is an only parent. So if we go to Janine, right? I might have to do this a couple times until we get a hit, but there's always a hit eventually, and then you end up with an Edwards Cooper drama nexus. So Janine is worth what? 53. 53 gives us Evans. We don't have any Evans. All right, who's another only child? Not only child, single parent. The single parents are... It'll tell me over here. Jeffrey Gray. What's going on with Jeffrey Gray's dad? He had a dad, right? Gray Duncan. All right. Duncan's been raising Jeffrey on his lonesome. In fact, let's just chuck in all the single parent names at once right now. So we've got Greta Gomez. Actually, Duncan's not going to be helpful because he probably kept his own surname. So what's Duncan's wife's or dead wife's name? Let's assume that Duncan has a dead wife. Why not? I just made that decision just now. Duncan's dead wife is named... Sorry, I'm scrolling back up to where the names are. Trudy. So we can start to find other connections, right? That's what we're doing here. So Greta Gomez. The Robinsons, we just did Janine and it gave us nothing. Single parents for the Ortizes. Well, we've already got a dead mum. Someone suggested earlier that maybe the Ortizes had multiple parents, but as in multiple different mums, none of whom are in the picture. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Who's the Reyes single parent? The Reyes single parent is... Where are the Reyeses? Reyes! Hello? Penelope, all right. So, Penelope. Okay. Yeah, I did use Clyde. I used Clyde and I used Killian. Yeah, you had... Evanstone, you had a couple silly ones that actually weren't that silly, and they did make it in there, as well as your more serious suggestions. You had a few make it in. Amanda King, who is the King single parent. King. Did I even add the Kings? Is Amanda King even in here? Did I skip over Amanda King? Gem. I skipped over Amanda King. So, we gotta add Amanda King. King, comma, Amanda. Who has a single parent whose name is, someone said something down here, Charlene. Okay. King, comma, Charlene. Absolutely. Why not? And Amanda King is an only child, so I don't have to worry about other siblings. Okay. So, Charlene's in the mix. Officially. All right. Let's just see who gets what. Oh, we've got two 88s. That's so interesting. That actually creates a connection between those two. That's wild. So Trudy, who was the dead mum. Oh, no, we've done it. We've done it. We've nailed it. We've cracked it. This is, okay. So this is step, I don't know, 6, whatever we're up to. This is like the interesting step. This is just me giving you an example of how it goes. And it's basically the final step before you just like shove them into the game and make them. So Trudy, who is Duncan Gray's wife. So I'm gonna put her in the she's dead, but I'm still gonna put her in here. So insert Gray, Trudy, but Trudy. I wish there was. Is there anywhere I can just write a note, please? Please, pretty please. Please, 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 please. I'm just going to write over here, dead. But Trudy has the same surname as Penelope, which is, oops, wrong thing, 88. Mendoza. Okay, Trudy and Penelope Mendoza. So, where do I? All right, okay. Okay. Which, have I been not showing you the correct thing this whole time? No, I must have been. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Now Penelope was who? Penelope was someone. This is what I get for putting them all in the same thing to save myself time. Where even are the Grays? Trudy Gray. I'm gonna just put it here, Mendoza. So Trudy is likely the sister of, because they're the same age bracket, Penelope. I don't know what the percentage of people who are vampires is. Penelope. What? Who were the options? It was Jeffrey. It was Greta, right? Penelope and... No, that was Katya. What? Where did I get Penelope from? Because Greta's got a single parent whose name is Katya, doesn't she? Am I imagining that? Did I just skip over? Whatever. It doesn't matter. Because I'll do it all properly at a later date. Single parent done. Single parent done. Single parent. You're not wrong, A Missile. Oleander is the kind of thing that vampires would name their kid. Where is Penelope? Free Penelope! What have I done? Where have you gone to? Did you exist? There you are! Reyes! Penelope is Reyes. So the Reyeses... Oh, thank God. So, why was that so hard? And that was Mendoza. So, interestingly, Penelope, single mother of Grant and Ginger, was the sister of... was the sister of Jeffrey's mom, Trudy, who is dead now. Okay? You see how the drama is starting to happen? You see how it happens? Usually it's easier to track because I'm not doing it quite so dramatically out of, you know, a notebook. What am I saying? What is anything I'm saying? What does it mean? Oh, no, there's... Okay, I put Greta instead of Katya. That's what happened there. That's what happened there. That's my bad. That's my bad. But Katya is a 58. 58. The Edwards Cooper drama nexus strikes again because Katya has the maiden name Edwards. Katya Edwards. Where'd you go? Greta, where did you go? There we go. Katya Edwards. And we have other Edwardses, don't we? We do. Yes, yes. Daisy and Becky and Everett Edwards. Okay, so Edwards is probably Everett's surname, just going by, like, tradition in America. So Katya and Everett are probably siblings. See? See how it starts to work? So then we've got cousins in the mix. And then the last one, Charlene. Charlene was who? Did we decide it was one of the dudes who was a single parent? Oh no, Charlene was King, right? Because I forgot Amanda, so I added her into the mix late, right? That's what happened? Is that what happened? Yes, Charlene King. Not to be mistaken for Marlene King. 66. Oh, there we go, is a Rogers, and we indeed, in our little grouping, have some Rogerses. So that makes Amanda cousins with Mickey. Mickey and Ray. Okay. But you see, so there you go. We start to form the connections. You get little elements in there where it's like, okay, well, so-and-so is dead. And then as you go... You start to, as you look at, like, older siblings, for example, you go, okay, well, you know, Jack has an older brother, Marshall. Does Marshall have a girlfriend? What's her name? You name her. She gets a surname. Then you find out that she's related to this person. And as you go, it just builds up little weird pockets of happenstance. And you end up with strange things happening. And that's just the whole last step, which is just going through naming the characters who are attached to the characters you've already gotten. And that takes you, in my experience, from this, we've got 119 Sims here. That's going to add, you know, somewhere in the zone of, like, 10 to 20 additional Sims. And then you've kind of just got a whole world ready to go. And I know that they're all just families. And I then beyond that will just chuck in some random loose sims that I download usually from Sims on the Rope, because they're kind of already put together in a decent way. I redress them because I like playing in CAS. But that's it. Like once you start adding in little bits and bobs, you get little pockets like that where you realize, oh, Duncan Gray's wife died and her sister is also a single parent, and what's their relationship like, and what's the relationship like between Jeffrey, who I believe is a toddler. No, he's a child. What's the relationship like between Jeffrey, who's a child, and the older Grant, who's a teen? Oh, but then Ginger is the same age, so Ginger and baby Jeffrey probably hang out all the time. You know what I mean? Like, you start, and then it starts creating friendship groups. You create friendship groups between the teens as you discover things, because you're like, well, this person's dating this person is exes with that person, so they're probably, you start to see the patterns take shape. Does any of what I've done today make sense? At the very least, I guess I will have come out of this with time estimates of how long it takes, because we've been streaming for 2.5 hours. And I've been explaining along the way. So the point that I wanted to make initially was, I don't think that it's that hard. And I stand by that. I don't think it is that hard. And I don't think that it's that time consuming. That's all. Yeah, that's probably the way to go, Nathan. It probably is. That's a really good idea. I will definitely consider doing it in a voiceover of like a sped up CAS. That's probably a good idea. The sad thing is, though, that I want to keep working on my setting. But here we are with this whole separate setting again. But yeah, yes, the hardest part legit was coming up with names. Exactly. And people who don't care as much about that are going to have an easier time of that than we even did. And I guess cross-referencing with the surnames and getting those organized was a little bit finicky, but it's not hard. So, it is what it is. And then lots of people ask questions about like, okay, but then how do you actually, once you've got all these details in your head about these characters, how do you put them in the game? I have a lot of mods. But even just with like, with MCCC and like UI cheats, you can kind of just plonk the Sims into the world, add a bunch of this information to them, and then banish them to the background, evict them into the background, or, leave them in their house with neighborhood stories turned off so they don't screw everything you've just done up. And then you can just, create your save file from there and add your own character into the mix. But it's the fact that when you go places, you go around the world, your sim will end up interacting with and making friends with random background sims. And I like to know that they have pre-existing connections and stories kind of in there. And I don't need them to be deep. I just need them to be broad and shallow. There just needs to be a tiny little bit in there that can then get built on, and you can find out who your sim wants to hang out with, and that kind of steady state world will develop over time. So yeah. I don't think there's anything else more really that needs to be done. I mean, there's the bookkeeping elements of it and all the stuff that I just described to you, but that's easy to do. I don't want to... I guess doing that part, that's going to be the part that takes a long time. The part where it's like, okay, does this person have a partner? Does this person have a, whatever. But I don't know, even if I say that takes a really long time, say that takes double the time of what we've already done, which there's no way that it would. The point is, it's still, it's what, a couple of evenings worth of fiddling around if you wanted to do it. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm piking out too early. I'm a little worried that I'm piking out too early, that I've, called the game before I should have. But I think I've talked through all of what I need to talk through. But it's also hard to tell when it's mostly the D&D folks watching this. But there you go. There you go. We had a little visit from Colville, both making fun of me and saying that it was neat. So what more could you ask for a ludicrous Sims NPC generation process? Well done, team. Well done. We did it. You can, I don't know. I'm stoked that we ended up with the dead mum and her sister, because I feel like that little nugget just shows you the kind of things that happen, because every time you need to name a new character, you find out what their surname is, and it creates a whole little ripple effect throughout the whole thing. And that's really fun. So thank you so much for hanging out. I'm probably going to call it there. I don't know. I wasn't sure how long this stream was going to end up being, and I'm kind of impressed that we ended up within a fairly reasonable time frame. Yeah. It does feel a little bit disingenuous to call it Sims content because I did not open the game even once. But for those of you who play The Sims, you understand, I think, that this is playing The Sims. Sometimes you play The Sims without opening the game. That's how we go. That's how we do. Anyway. Yes, group them based on which families have to be made together because of genetics. When I do CAS, it's like a whole thing. Having to, like, it becomes a process. Like, you can just download off the gallery and it really doesn't matter. But I go the whole way. I start with a sim, and then I'm like, okay, genetics, parents, and then I'm like, and I should probably start with the parent sims, actually. But the first time I was doing the CAS alongside this, kind of. But yeah, if I start with the parents and then make the kids, but then sometimes the parents have siblings, and so then you have to do like mix and matching of households to get the generics to carry across. And that's without the game even remembering. Like, I'm gonna have to go in and tell the game that all of these people are related, because it is going to forget. None of them are brave enough to export Sims to Excel. So yeah, it's how weird is that? 200th episode of the Eldritch Lorecast next week. Snuck up on us. I don't even know if we've got anything special planned, but we should. I don't know. Weird. So yeah, I don't know. This has been a good time. I hope you've had a good time. I have the deepest feeling that I've forgotten something important that I'm meant to be saying right now. And it's really stressing me out. It's making me drag my heels in terms of signing off. I just don't know about it. But no, thank you for hanging out. I really hope I haven't forgotten to say anything. Musical episode is a great idea. I'll pitch it. The Bubbatas will finally be relevant. All right. No, that's it. Thank you for hanging out. I hope it's not too late for too many of you. I know I got started later in the day, and I apologize for that. But, have a great morning, afternoon, evening, night. Look after yourselves, and I'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye.